Here is the video everyone has been waiting for. This is the customer piece. I promised quite a few of you an in-depth tutorial, so that's what we're going to make this video. Let's talk about the choices I made and why I made them. All of these are my opinions and personal preferences. There are a lot of ways to do this. So this is oil paints. I'm working on a canvas and the background is a dried layer of black acrylic paint. On top of that acrylic paint, I have a layer of wet oil paints in colors that I want. And then on top of that, I start adding the white. I have learned that I like a combination of line and dots. You get a really cool effect if you work only with dots, but it is a very different look, so I like to do both. Either way, you want to make sure that you're leaving behind clumps of white paint. Next, I have chosen to do the first step of the process with a small makeup brush. It's hard to see in the video, but I'm only dragging up the top half of the white paint and leaving clumps below it. Now I go in with a large fluffy makeup brush and I actually pull all of it. The reason I've chosen to do this is because one of the problems I was having was sort of losing that white at the bottom. So I found if I dragged some of that color up earlier with another brush, left some white behind, and then used my large brush at the end, I was able to retain a little bit of that change of color in there. And you can see that this step makes a huge difference. I'm wiping off my brush in between each stroke to make sure that I'm not dragging any of that white onto black parts of the canvas I don't want. And here's a quick edit I made as I lost the look of that curve, so I just added a little bit of white in and very, very gently blended it up, tried to leave the line behind so I could see it. There is certainly more you can do with this, but this is where I chose to leave it, and I'll show you a finished result. This then got put under a box to dry so that it wasn't exposed to any dust, and in a couple days it will get varnished and be ready to send off. Thank you guys so much for coming along on the journey with me.